If you're not where you want to be financially, there's one thing you need to change, and it's your mindset. Ultimately, this is not going to be a video where there's woo-woo information being given to you. After this video, you're going to have the awareness to completely unlock your mind and achieve any financial target that you're going to set. Whether that's 10k a month, 20k a month, 50, 100, $500,000 a month, £1 million a month, it really doesn't matter, because once you apply what we're going to speak about today, you become unlimited in your mind. And why should you listen to me? Where I grew up in a household where there was £16,000 a year being made, and it wasn't even by my mum. It was by my stepdad. And ultimately, that didn't allow us to have an abundance mindset. I did not grow up in complete poverty, but I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I grew up with money doesn't grow on trees and these kind of things. Like, people like us don't become millionaires, to making well over six figures with my coaching business, hitting £20,000 in a month, and setting targets within the next few months to hit six figures in a month. How was I able to do this? Like, how did I set these targets from growing up in such a limited, scarce environment with money? Well, I done what I'm going to speak to you today. I removed the money blocks. I'm going to allow you to understand how you can do the same thing. And if you're already at 20k a month, this is going to allow you to get to 50, 100. Ultimately, this video is going to unlock your mind and allow you to do what I've done at whatever level you're at right now. I'm not only going to allow you to understand what the money blocks are, but how they're actually formed, how to remove them, and ultimately it's going to give you like the complete awareness to become unlimited. So let's get into it. Removing money blocks. So essentially, after this video, you're going to be able to remove the money blocks that you have inside your mind. And again, what I want to start off with though is, what is money? It's very important, because your relationship with money, you've learned the relationship with money. Money is actually just a tool. It's something that's used as a transactional tool. Someone gives you value, you pay them money. You give someone value, they pay you money. All it is a tool. It's also printed out of thin air. There's trillions of dollars that aren't physical. It's literally numbers on a screen. There's trillions of dollars that could not be taken out of a bank. They're just being printed out of thin air. And we also have no natural emotions towards money. If you were 5 years old, you would throw 50k out of a window. If you were 5 years old and someone gave you £50,000 in cash, you would throw it out of a window without even caring. You've not got any natural, intrinsic emotions attached to money. But what happens is we go through experiences, we observe things, and we create these associations that cause us to develop a relationship with the money. And before we go into it and allow you to understand how you can remove these associations, how you can understand everything that we're going to speak about, I want you to really allow the above that we've just spoke about to zoom out. I want you to allow what we've just said, what I've briefly just spoke about, to zoom out from money, to detach from money and what it really is. It is really actually unintelligent for you to have any negative emotions tied to money. And consciously, me and you can agree on that. But the problem is, there's things that operate subconsciously below your conscious awareness that you're not aware of. Okay, so a question I'd love to ask: do you want to make money? Well, consciously, you would say yes. Your conscious answer would be yes. But the subconscious answer is maybe. Well, let me explain, because that would maybe leave you thinking, okay, well, what do you mean? Consciously, I do want to make money, but what do you mean by subconsciously, maybe I might? Well, let's speak about it. Well, the conscious mind that you've got two parts of your mind. You've got the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is logical. Okay, it's what you use to set your goals. So it's a part of your brain that you say, okay, well, logically, I want to make 50k per month, 100k per month, 500k per month, whatever it is. But that's the part of your mind where you're like, well, okay, well, logically, I want to achieve this goal. But then you've got this subconscious part of your mind. And that subconscious part of your mind is irrational. Irrational meaning it genuinely, logically does not make sense. And that's very important, so keep that in mind. It will attach its own associations, okay, to the goal. To whatever goal you set consciously. Your subconscious mind has its own associations that will attach to it. And if those associations are good, there's going to be no resistance between you and the goal. But if those associations are bad, there's going to be resistance. And how does this resistance show up? Well, it shows up in self-sabotage, procrastination, inconsistency. Ultimately, that's how the resistance is going to show up. So if you can start to think, as I'm even speaking, I've actually been procrastinating recently. I have been self-sabotaging and I've been inconsistent. Well, that allows me to understand that you have subconscious associations that are tied to the goal and the thing you want to achieve that are negative, that are not good. And as we go through this video, you're going to understand exactly how to remove these associations. But firstly, you need to understand what they are. So another thing about the subconscious mind before we move forward is it operates below conscious awareness. And that's why you consciously want to achieve the goal. But subconsciously, if you're not aligned with the goal, then you're never going to achieve it. And this means that you're not aware, okay, you literally are not aware of most of the beliefs and associations that you have. You're not aware of it unless you become aware of it and watch content like this, which you're doing, which I really appreciate you giving me your time and attention, because this is powerful information. But they control you without you even, or even if you don't consciously agree, sorry. Okay? And I'm going to make this clear. So these associations and beliefs control you even if you don't consciously agree. So if you consciously don't agree that money is stressful, because consciously you think, well, money's going to make me money. Money's going to make me abundant. Money's going to give me the life that I want. If you consciously think that, but you have subconscious beliefs and subconscious associations that aren't that, then they're going to control you, even if you don't consciously agree with it. And I'm going to make this very clear, as I said. So let's go into it. But what are subconscious associations? That is the main questions. What are subconscious associations? Well, what they are, okay, and what happens is any experience that you have in life, so any experience or observation that has involved, okay, negative emotional intensity. So a negative emotion at a high intensity, whether that's through an experience that you've had directly yourself or you've observed this negative emotional intensity. Could be your mum stressed out about money. Could be your dad stressed out about money, your family, whatever it is. Or it could be your own experience. But this creates a subconscious association. So let's look at it. For example, if you have an experience that has a negative emotion involved, there's a subconscious association that's created. Okay? And that experience, as I spoke about, is either a direct experience that you have or it's an observation that takes place. Here's the example. Imagine you grow up with money being scarce. There's not a lot of money. That's your experience. But you've also probably observed this. You've observed your mum not having a lot of money, your dad not having a lot of money, aunties, uncles, whoever it is. But likely, as you've grew up, you've had beliefs in your family where, again, money is hard to get because it's been scarce. And there's been stress tied to that. So you've seen your mum stressed out. I have a vivid memory that I've had to kind of go in and get rid of in terms of the association by becoming conscious of it and doing what I'm going to tell you in this video. Where I seen my mum upset, and I can just remember as a wee boy her holding a £20 note, £20. And although my mind now, consciously, I know that that's not all the money that she had, I seen £20 in her hands. I seen her with letters of whether it was tax or whatever it was, and she was upset, and she was stressed out, and she was crying, and she was holding £20. So as a child, I create this subconscious association that money is stressful. My mum's holding a £20 note. It's all that she has in my mind at that point. So subconsciously, I am completely associating money with stress. And you need to remember, the subconscious mind is irrational. Okay, and another thing I want to reinforce is this stress, okay, is obviously the emotion. Your subconscious mind, and I've got a video that is below this video that tells you how to reprogram your subconscious mind, but it's literally reprogrammed by emotion. Okay, emotion and repetition are the main things, but strong emotional charges is the quickest way to reprogram your subconscious mind. But it's also the quickest way that your subconscious mind is programmed as you grow up or throughout life. It's not just as children, but a lot of the time these subconscious associations will be formed in your childhood and as you grow up. But remember, the subconscious mind is irrational. It doesn't make logical sense. So money equals stress. Okay, well, consciously, money's going to give me freedom. Money's going to look cool. I know. Personally, I actually agree with you. But subconsciously, if you've experienced stress and negative emotional intensity and money has been in the experience or observation that you've went through, you're going to tie subconsciously money and stress together, which is going to create this resistance. How will the resistance show up? Well, we spoke about it. It's going to show up in forms of self-sabotage, procrastination, inconsistency. And you'll be so frustrated and you'll be wondering, why can't I just move towards this goal? Why do I keep sabotaging? Why do I keep falling off? It's It's because subconsciously you have associations that are negative and tied to the goal that you want. And it's going to be money every single time, because everyone that wants to be successful wants to make money because it gives you freedom, allows you to have more impact, etc., etc. It doesn't make logical sense, the subconscious mind, but it actually determines how you experience reality. The subconscious mind dictates pretty much not exactly, every single experience that you have. The majority of your experience is dictated by your subconscious mind. So it's so important that we make any subconscious associations conscious. We need to make these subconscious associations conscious. We need to become consciously aware of these subconscious associations. Because at the end of the day, awareness equals control. When we are aware of the subconscious associations and they become conscious, they can no longer control us. We're only controlled by the subconscious beliefs, the limiting beliefs, the limiting associations that we have, because we cannot see them, because we're not conscious of them. And that's why you're scratching your head wondering why you keep sabotaging, why you keep being inconsistent. And it's because they're unconscious. But honestly, the power in just becoming aware of them, not even using the techniques I'm going to tell you in this video, but just by becoming aware of the fact that this exists subconsciously, it loses its power. It starts to lose its power as soon as you just become aware of it and you gain control. So the question is, how do you make it conscious? That is the question. Because me telling you that, I'm sure you might believe me, but how do we make it conscious? Well, simply by asking the right questions. That's how we make this conscious, by asking the right questions. And here are 3 really good questions that you can pause and you can write down as you're watching this. Because these are 3 very good questions that are going to allow you to understand what emotions subconsciously that you tie to money. So let's speak about these 3 questions. So what emotion comes up, okay, when I think about making more money? There's the first question. What emotion comes up when I think about making more money? And be honest. You might feel initially excited, but generally does it feel a bit stressful to make lots of money? Just be honest. The best thing that you can do answering these questions is be super honest. Another really good question that I use with clients, I use this with clients, and I actually paid £1,000 to go to a mastermind where a guy called Neo Knowledge, you might know of him, he gave this question out to the group of entrepreneurs. And he said a good way to do it is ask, what are my most negatively, emotionally intense experiences associated with money? He actually said associated with business, but associated with money. And I want you to ask yourself this question. What are my most negative emotionally intense experiences associated with money? Think back. Because the ones that will come up, the ones that will just surface as you ask that question, they'll be the ones that left an imprint. Because we are survival creatures. So the reason why negative emotions leave a stronger, lasting association is because we almost see it as a threat to our survival, because it's negative. There's fear involved. There's stress involved. So that's why it leaves more of an imprint. That's why you can have a very, very positive holiday, for example, as an example. But one negative thing happens at the end of it, and the whole holiday is ruined almost. That's what it feels like, because negative emotions leave longer lasting imprints in our mind. So when you ask this question, I want you to think about the core experiences that you've had. Okay? And just go into it and ask the questions. What are the core experiences that I've had? And maybe it is asking a question there, and then you think back, I can actually remember my mum crying. Go into that situation. Think about how it made you feel. Think about what emotions that you observed, and start to become consciously aware of the reasons why you might have subconscious associations that are tied negatively to money because you've went through these experiences. So understand the core experiences, write them down, become aware of them. Super powerful. Another one is, what do I believe money will cost me if I have more of it? So a lot of people actually do believe that when they make a lot of money, other people will judge them more, or their family will ask them for money, or they won't be in any way, would you say, able to relate to their family anymore, so they're going to lose connections, they're going to not be as connected to their family and people they love because they're going to be on another level. There's all these things that might come up for you when you ask the question, what do I believe money will cost me if I have more of it? Maybe it costs you more time. Maybe you think that money is going to cost you more time. And when you ask this question about what are your most negatively intense experiences, what are your core experiences, you might find out, and I've done this with a lot of clients, where they seen their mum and their dad working really hard to make money. So they make this subconscious association of this. Money equals working hard. So then what happens is they're addicted to working hard and they feel guilty when they take a day off. That might be you. And the reason for that is you believe that you're not going to make money if you don't work hard. When ultimately you can think, and I've done this with a client, he said, Kyle, like I actually have this. I always seen my mum working hard, and I knew that because he was really guilty when he took a day off and he was grafting so much. And I don't preach work really hard, put a lot of effort in and get big results. I preach you can actually get a lot more results in more of a creative, relaxed state and taking more aligned actions rather than grafting, grinding and putting a lot of effort in. Because here's an example. Because I asked him that question and then we understood that when I done a call with him, when I done a one-to-one coaching call with him, we done a visualization and a hypnosis session where he really embodied the version of him that was making 6 figures a month. He really connected to that state. In that emotional state straight after the call, he got an inspired thought, an idea to take an inspired action. And that was following up with a deal that he had previously just thought, I'm not going to follow up with that again, because he was thinking, I need to work hard. It can't be that easy. But he had this inspired thought off the back of embodying that identity through the hypnosis session that we done. And that emotion caused him to think, I'm going to take this action. He followed up with a deal, £40,000 off the back of a 5-minute phone call. That's the profit that he's going to get in this property deal. So 5 minutes equals £40,000. But he was thinking that money was hard to make because he learned this throughout his life. Remember, you learn these things. You're born unlimited, okay? You're completely born unlimited, no limitations. And then you learn all these limitations. That's meant to be a minus sign. But you learn all these limitations. So you become a sum of everything that you've learned. So he learned that money was hard to make, so he thought he had to work hard. But then that example where he made £40,000 profit and landed a deal within 5 minutes on a phone call, he was just like, hey, well, I know what you mean now. I understand it. So as he started to become conscious of these associations, okay, it's not just money is stressful. It could be you've been trained, or you've associated money with working hard and all these things, effort, all these things. Then ultimately, once you become aware of them, you can start to detach from them. And we're going to speak about that. But I want you to actually imagine, as I'm speaking right now, that you grew up with a family of billionaires. And all you seen was an abundance of money. All you seen was your dad making one phone call and making £100,000, £1 million. Every holiday you wanted to go on, you went on with no resistance. You would not have any of these associations attached to money. And even as an adult, you can form these subconscious associations. And it's not just through necessarily growing up with poor parents or whatever it is. You can actually form these subconscious associations with any negative, emotionally intense experience that you have as an adult. So when you're scaling your business, maybe you make an investment, maybe you spend money and it doesn't go right and it stresses you out and you're like, fuck, oh my God, I'm in such a bad position. You're going to create this subconscious association that investing money, spending money isn't good. So you're going to hold on to it more. You're going to be more of a scarcity mindset. That state you'll be in will dictate how you think. Those beliefs that you form off the back of the associations, we'll speak about it in a minute, create this scenario where you see the world through that lens of your beliefs. Let me stop ruining the rest of the video, right? But when you ask these questions, which are super powerful to ask, one thing that my mentor said was, what separates people that are super successful and not is the ability to ask better external questions, because it allows you to ask better internal questions that allow you to find the answers. But what are these answers that you find? Well, these answers are going to reveal your subconscious blocks. They're going to reveal your subconscious blocks. So powerful. And this is a mechanism. This is what happens. This is the mechanism that's formed. So you have an experience and observation. You then have this subconscious association that's formed. And what happens is you make a decision unconsciously. You decide without even knowing it. You don't even know that you're doing this. It's such a powerful part of this video. You don't even know you're making a decision to believe that money is hard, but you do it. Because you see these examples, these experiences, you have these observations of your mum being stressed, family being stressed, and ultimately it leads to you unconsciously deciding money must be hard to make. That's a decision that you make without even knowing it. You need to know that you make that decision. You do. No one else. You make that unconsciously. And as these beliefs stay in your mind, okay, they just stay there. These beliefs are formed. They become a part of your identity. I'm not someone that can make money. I'm someone that needs to work hard to make money. People like me aren't millionaires. This is the identity you start to form. And that dictates then how you think about the world, because you see the world as you are. You don't see the world as it is. You see the world through the filter of your mind, which we're going to speak about. And those thoughts that you have when you see the world lead to how you feel. Those feelings drive the actions that you take. And then naturally, the outcome is a byproduct of the actions that you take. But what happens is, or what I've just spoke about, you make these decisions to believe in these things based on the subconscious associations that you make, based on the experiences or observations that you go through. But the cool thing is, you make these unconsciously, and then you gain the awareness by asking the questions and watching content like this. Once you gain the awareness, you gain the ability to make a conscious decision. So you can then choose to consciously make a decision. What is that? To change your beliefs. Kyle, it's not that hard to make a decision to change your beliefs. Wait a minute, it actually is. It actually is. And you change the belief to, actually, money is opportunities for me. Money allows me to expand. Money gives me freedom. Money gives me a bigger impact. Listen, I had these negative subconscious associations. Now I know in my heart that I'm going to be a multi-millionaire. No ego, I just know it. I completely know it. Because at some point I decided to believe that I was going to be that. I can remember standing out the back garden of my grand's house on Mother's Day so clearly, arguing with my drunk auntie. And she's saying, you're not going to be a millionaire. You don't even know how to do blah, blah, blah. Arguing with me. And I said, I'm already a millionaire. I was 19. I'm 25 now. I'm already a millionaire. Time just hasn't caught up yet. And during that time, 17, 18, 19, I decided that I was going to be a millionaire. I made that decision to believe that I could do that. That's what happened. I decided to believe that. And after making that conscious decision to believe that then, look at this, that then became a part of my identity. I am someone that's going to be a millionaire. Then that dictated how I thought. So me and my brother would go to networking events, property events. Those feelings that we would get by thinking and feeling and going to these things, or by experiencing these property events, would dictate our actions. So I started a coaching business. My brother started a sports therapy business. And the outcome is, we've scaled our business to 6 figures. We're hitting 20k months. We're aiming for 100k months now, within the next few months. And that's because we've went in and we've made a conscious decision to change these beliefs, which, as we've just spoke about, has changed the way that the mechanism is now operating. And that's the mechanism that operates inside you. So let's speak about this. So you change this belief, and you need to know that the beliefs that you hold are not the truth. They do not equal the truth. Okay? The truth is nothing but beliefs wearing a mask. Such a powerful concept. Beliefs wearing a mask. And what they do is they convince you that they are the truth. They convince you that they're the truth. And they convince you that it's hard to shift. So when I said to you, you can just decide to not believe in it. You might have a thought that comes in, it's not that easy. That's the old belief convincing you that it's not that easy. And everything that I'm saying in this video, what do you get out of not believing what I'm saying? You don't get anything out of it. But what do you get when you start to believe what I'm saying? You gain power. You gain the ability to shift your mind, which is super important. Because what beliefs are, and this is from esoteric wisdom, this is from an esoteric perspective, but beliefs are actually entities. They're actually, you can look at these entities as living beings, these beliefs inside of you. And what they want to do is, they want to convince you that they're the truth, because they're wearing a mask. I'm the truth. Think about this perspective. They want to convince you that they're hard to shift, so that you just don't make that decision to shift them, because they want to take up mental real estate. They want to actually exist in your mind. Think about it. If they're living beings, they want to exist in your mind. They're entities. But ultimately, beliefs are decisions. Beliefs are just decisions. Think back to it. You decided to believe that money was hard, unconsciously, without even knowing it. So now that you know you've done that, was it hard to make that decision back then? No, it was really easy to make the decision to believe that money was hard. Well, guess what? It's not hard to believe that money is not hard to make. It's not hard to make. It's not hard to change that belief. It's as easy as making a decision. It genuinely is. And let me back it up. There's a book called The Kybalion. Have I got it behind me? Yeah, I do. Let me plug the book quickly. So this book, Ancient Hermetic Philosophies, The Kybalion. Super powerful book. Hopefully that's in focus. Super powerful book. Ancient Hermetic Philosophies. And there's something in that book called the Law of Polarity. And the Law of Polarity states that all truths are but half-truths. Okay? So all truths are but half truths. And what does that mean? Well, let's look at an example. One half of the truth is that something's good. The other half of the truth is that something's bad. And let's use the example of 10K per month. 10K per month is very good to someone. Maybe good to you if you're watching this. 10K per month. That may actually be a good amount of money. But to someone else, 10K per month would mean that they can't pay their bills. They're skint. They've completely went in the wrong direction. So what is actually the truth? Like what is the truth here? What's the truth? Well, they're both halves of the truth, as I spoke about. The beliefs will dictate what the truth is. Whatever beliefs are wearing a mask will dictate what the truth is. So if they have beliefs inside their mind that 10K a month is good, then guess what? The truth will be 10K a month is good. If they have beliefs in their mind that 10K a month isn't good, then guess what? The truth is that 10K a month is bad. So all truths are but half truths. The truth is nothing but a belief wearing a mask. When you start to understand these principles, how much power is this giving you? How much control is this now giving you that you can just decide to shift your beliefs? It's just a decision. Just like you made a decision before without even knowing it, you can consciously, with the awareness you've now got, make a decision to believe that money is going to give you opportunities, it's going to allow you to expand, it's going to give you freedom, and it's going to give you the ability to have a bigger impact. And let's look at what happens. So this is you, and let me not offend you. Let me actually give you, we'll just make it red, I'll give you biceps, right? Because you're strong. I believe in you. But what happens when you see reality is you see reality through this filter here. Okay. This filter is a reticular activating system, part of your brainstem that allows you to filter reality, but it filters reality based on your beliefs. And it uses something called confirmation bias to back up the beliefs that you have. So if you have beliefs in your subconscious mind, remember, subconscious, below conscious awareness, you don't even know you have them, then what's going to happen is you're going to find evidence in your reality. And if they're negative, you're going to see problems. You're going to have doubt. You're going to find reasons to doubt, evidence that you should have doubt. You're going to find no one that's going to allow you to move forward. You're not going to really meet the right people because you're not filtering reality based on what it is. You're filtering reality based on the beliefs that you hold inside your mind, based on who you are. So you're going to see problems. But if you shift the beliefs, and you shift the beliefs to money will give me opportunities, money is positive, money makes me healthy, happy, these positive associations that you choose to consciously shift your beliefs, then ultimately these opportunities, you'll see them in your reality. You'll see ways to move forward. You'll get ideas because you'll see evidence and opportunities that will give you better ideas, and you'll meet the right people. You'll speak to someone, maybe I've spoke to multiple really good people in David Lloyd's sauna and David Lloyd's spa. And if I had beliefs in my mind that weren't aligned with success, I wouldn't have seen these people as people to talk to. But because I know that and I believe that I will be a multimillionaire, I've spoke to multiple multimillionaires in David Lloyd. And they know and they can feel the beliefs that I hold in my mind. And what happens? They talk to me. They give me wisdom. They give me awareness. They introduce me to people. I've been introduced to people that are going to make me 7 figures just by knowing them. And I know that. And it's all because I've been able to filter reality based on the beliefs that I hold to see opportunities to meet those people. But I wouldn't have seen that and I wouldn't have found that evidence if I didn't have these positive beliefs. So hopefully this is all making sense. Hopefully this is all making a lot of sense. And let me just give you a little bit of a bonus. Okay, let me give you a bit of a bonus. So you can consciously decide to make a decision to shift that belief 100%. But let me give you a little bit of a bonus while you're here. And if you're still here at this point in the video, you actually deserve this. Where is it? Okay, let's see. So imagine you have, right, this subconscious association that money is stressful. And we know after this, and maybe watching the video below this one, that your subconscious mind is programmed by emotion. What you can actually do, and this is what I do with my clients, what you can actually do, and it's in the video below this, but I'm giving you this bonus kind of idea, right? So what you do is you get into theta state, okay? And this is theta brainwave state, which is just a relaxed state. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to completely relax, and it allows the conscious mind, let me spell this right, conscious mind to become quiet. What happens? By quiet, I mean there's no resistance. Because what I'm about to say is you would consciously resist this. So what you do is you get into a very relaxed state, and when you're in this relaxed state, using your imagination, I guide my clients into this, let me make sure this is good. Essentially what you'll do is you'll relive that negative experience that you had. You relive the negative experience. But in this relaxed state, what you're going to do is, change to green, you're going to relive it as a positive experience. So see, instead of seeing your mum as stressed, you're going to actually see your mum smiling. You're going to actually see your mum calm. You're actually going to see your mum peaceful. And what this is going to do is, because you're in this very relaxed state, you're going to essentially replace, okay, and you can use the word scramble, that negative association. Okay? And what you're going to do in this relaxed state is, you're going to actually be able to move or remove that negative association. Because your mind in this relaxed state, your subconscious mind, cannot distinguish between reality and vivid imagination. It almost fires the same neural circuits in your brain. So as you actually re-experience and relive these negative experiences as a positive experience, you're going to replace and scramble these negative experiences. Let me give you an example of, before I finish the video, let me give you an example of how I've actually went through this myself. So I done a hypnosis session with my old mentor that I used to work with, one-to-one mentor. He's a hypnotherapist. And what happened was I had this negative association. And I'll just tell you a little story before you go. And I really appreciate your time if you're still here watching this video. This has been a super powerful video, so I do think it's definitely good for you to soak this in. If you apply this, you're going to change your life. But I had this negative association from school. And in school, I used to get, in English, the teacher would ask you to read out a page in a book. And as it was coming closer to my turn, I would get so anxious, so nervous, the anxiety through the roof, sweating, pretty much crying. And then when I went to college, the same thing happened. So I went into the classroom. The college lecturer said, I'm going to go round everyone. And I'm going to actually, and you're going to say your name and say what you're expecting to do from the course, the college course, right? Boom, anxiety. My body started sweating, started to feel really sick. Came round to me, ultimate anxiety, little squeaky voice. I was like 18, probably shouldn't have had a squeaky voice, but I did. And I said, my name's Kyle and I want to be a PT, whatever it was. So anxious. And then 4 years later, it comes to 2024. So not that long ago, like it would have been a year ago today, pretty much, around this time. And I was at a networking event and the same thing happened. I did it consciously. Listen to this. Consciously, I was the guy. I'd made over 10K in a month. I hit a 12K a month a couple of months before. No one really in the room was making that kind of money. So consciously, I was the guy. But the same thing happened. We're going to go around everyone. You're going to say your name, what you expect from today. Boom. This subconscious association caused my body to start reacting nervously. Heart started beating. Hands started sweating. And I just couldn't think properly. And when it came round to me, I said 2 words and it was like, is that it? And I was like, yeah, that's all I want. And it was like this nervous, weird reaction where I just wasn't myself. So strange and so weird. But it was clearly subconscious associations that I still had in my mind from that setting of being asked and the trigger that happened, right? So what happened with my mentor when I done the hypnosis, when we done this thing here that I'm telling you about, he got me into a relaxed state and he got me to relive that experience. And from what I can remember, he got me to see it very quickly, but he got me to see it very positively, and he got me to like zoom out and see it very small. He got me to drain the colour out of it. He got me to play funny music over it. Essentially what he was doing, he was removing and he was scrambling the association that I had subconsciously. Scrambling it. And through just re-experiencing that memory in a different way. And a couple of weeks later, I went to a networking event. Same thing happened, no reaction. I've been to 5 networking events since, I think 5-ish, and it hasn't happened since. It just got completely removed, the association completely removed. So this is also, if you're doing work with someone else, like me, and the work that I'm doing with clients, or like my mentor that does this type of work, you can get into these relaxed state and you relive and you remove these negative associations. That's, again, I'd say the most powerful way to get rid of it. The most powerful way to get rid of it. And one last little nugget that I want to give you is when you consciously decide, you consciously make a decision to shift that belief, what happens is you're going to form a new pathway. And this new pathway is going to be aligned with the new identity. There's something called Hebb's Law. And Hebb's Law states that neurons that fire together wire together. So as you make this conscious decision to believe you're going to make millions of pounds, believe that money's good, and you take an action and you reinforce this thought and you have a positive emotion, you're going to fire and wire a new neuron together. But what's happened is you've got so many of these negative wires that are fired and wired together over time, and they're very, very strong. But there's something called synaptic pruning. And this synaptic pruning is a process of your brain eliminating and essentially deleting these old pathways as you don't use them. So as you consciously decide and become consciously aware of these subconscious associations, these negative pathways, these limiting beliefs, as you become consciously aware of them and you don't feed them, synaptic pruning is going to take place. Your brain literally starts to get rid of these pathways because you're not using them. So you're going to start to become weaker. And as you notice it might come up, if you don't do the hypnosis, if you don't do the work that I do with my clients or the work that I do with my mentor, then you're just going to need to be consciously aware of this. And as you become consciously aware of it coming up, you notice that that's not the truth, you notice you don't align with that, you're going to reinforce this positive wire, this new pathway, this positive pathway, this strong new positive pathway that you're forming through these laws. It's not made up. And synaptic pruning will take place. You'll start to delete and remove these old pathways, and essentially you'll just form these new automatic pathways, behavioral patterns that will move you towards the life that you want. Another quick example is a client recently, his goal is to make 50k a month. A lot of negativity, negative thinking, couldn't stop it coming in, really didn't feel good about the future, kept feeling a lot of doubt. Within a week, gone. Within one hypnosis session, within one guided visualization session that I'd done, completely gone. He then made a decision to hire someone for £5,000 a month. Like, that decision was not made from the version of him that he came to me as. Within 1 week, he made a completely different decision because he completely rewired his subconscious mind. Excuse my French. But it happened within a week. So if you are someone that wants to really unlock your mind, if you're someone that really wants to take this seriously and not just learn information like this and maybe not apply it, but come to someone like me that's going to help you apply this and go to the next level, to become unlimited, to achieve anything you ever want, click the link in the bio, because that gives you direct one-to-one access to have a call with me, a conversation with me, and become one of my clients that are becoming unlimited, that are now flying towards 100k a month. I had a client that started with me making £2,000 a month 6 months ago. He's made £8,000 in a month, and he's now flying towards 6 figures a month, building a 7-figure agency. That is not a fake result. That is real results, real people getting real results, unlocking their mind, and ultimately showing what's possible. Becoming unlimited, just like how you could be if we locked in and worked together. But I appreciate your time and attention. This new wave of content that I'm putting out is going to be unbelievable. It's going to give you the keys to becoming unlimited in your life. And I really appreciate your time and attention for sitting here and watching this. If you're still here, I love you so much. What an absolute fucking legend. But until the next video, I'll see you soon. And again, I couldn't appreciate your time more. Until the next one.